afternoon friends. The very beneficial GST Amnesty Scheme is in full throttle and effect. There are many queries which are coming to us and clarification has been issued by the GST Council even today on 8th of February. We'll discuss all of these issues, queries and clarifications in this video. So first of all, this new GST Amnesty Scheme provides that in case you have a show cause or a demand order for 17-18, 18-19 or 19-20 financial years under section 73, then you can pay off the tax amount and can get a complete waiver of interest and penalty. Mind that going under amnesty scheme does not mean that you are admitting a tax liability or a position. For the same issue in 1 year, you can go under the amnesty scheme, and on the other year, you might choose to contest the issue. So, 31st of March 2025, friends, is the last date of making the payment if you want to go under the amnesty scheme. And 30th of June 2025 is the last date for filing form SPL01 for going under the amnesty scheme in case you have a show cause, or SPL02 for going under the amnesty scheme if you are going against an order. But please do not wait till 31st of March 2025, because while making the payment you have to file form SPL01 or 02. There are certain glitches in form SPL01 or 02. For example, in SPL02, you have to choose the demand order from the drop down for which you want to go under the amnesty scheme. That drop down demand order is not appearing in certain cases. In certain cases, the option of uploading documents are not appearing, or the auto-populated email ID and details of the concerned person is not appearing. For all of this, you have to go and file a grievance, and once it is resolved, then you have to file form SPL01 or 02. This resolution may have a time lag, and therefore it is recommended to have sufficient time in hand. Go for the amnesty scheme immediately. All forms are there available on the portal. Now, one issue which is coming before us is in case you are making a payment of RCM under the amnesty scheme, then while you get the waiver of interest and penalty, the question is whether you get the corresponding input tax credit or not. In our view, input tax credit correspondingly would not be available, even though for RCM you have to make the payment under cash if you want to go for the amnesty scheme. Next, there is a question asked that what about a case where you have filed the GSTR 3B late, you have made a payment of complete tax amount, and for the interest and penalty you want to go under the amnesty scheme. It has been clarified that in such cases, in case the demand is under section 75 subsection 12 of the CGST Act, then you cannot go under the amnesty scheme. However, mind that such demand should be under 75(12). However, in case the demand is under any other section, say section 73, then in our view, against the said order or show cause, you can go under the amnesty scheme still. It has been clarified in the CBIC's instruction 2, which has been issued today, that in case where you have paid the entire amount of tax and the department wishes to go for an incremental or an imposition of interest or penalty in that order, whether you can go for the amnesty scheme or not, as you have already paid the entire amount of tax. It has been clarified that this scheme is a beneficial scheme, and such appeals or procedures of the department should not deter the taxpayers from going under the amnesty scheme. So in such cases also it is open for you to go under the amnesty scheme. Again, mind that if you go to the portal, in case your appeal is filed post 21st of March 2023, then online you can withdraw the appeal for the purpose of going under the amnesty scheme. But for prior periods, in certain cases you cannot withdraw the appeal online. So you have to apply to the appellate authority, and from the back end your appeal can be withdrawn. So again, a procedural requirement is there, and as such we request you to go for the amnesty scheme immediately without further delay. In case you have got an order under section 74. What is section 74? Those are cases where there is an allegation of fraud, suppression or willful misstatement against you. Then apparently you cannot go under the amnesty scheme. But in case you go for an appeal against that order, and in case the appellate authority directs the adjudicating authority under section 75(2) to pass the order under section 73 as in its views, the order under 74 is not right, there is no fraud, collusion, willful misstatement or suppression. Then against the consequential order under section 73, within 6 months of such order, you can still go under the amnesty scheme. So doors are not shut for section 74 orders also, which please note. Refund cases are not allowed to go under the amnesty scheme. In case you have delayed taking input tax credit within the time barring period of taking input tax credit for these 3 years, which is covered under the amnesty scheme under 128A, then you can get a complete waiver of the demand for such input tax credit when you are going for a rectification application. There is a specific circular 237, you may go through the circular. But in case say for a particular order or show cause, you have one of the issues for time barring period of input tax credit, and for other issues also you want to go for an amnesty scheme, then for the ITC issue under the same form of amnesty scheme SPL 02, you can file for rectification of input tax credit corresponding demand. That amount would be reduced from the value for which you are going under the amnesty scheme, and you can go for the amnesty scheme for the balance of the value. So you need not go via a separate procedure for that order for input tax credit. However, in case you have multiple issues for a particular year in an order or show cause, you cannot pick and choose. You have to go for amnesty for all the issues under a particular show cause or an order. Please be very careful while you are going for an amnesty scheme application. Please pay the due tax amount only in case of SPL 02 through the SPL 02 form and not separately while DRC 03. And for SPL 01, that is show cause cases, you have to file DRC 03 and then appropriate the amount accordingly. So the final requirement is that the liability which is appearing for an order or show cause on your GST portal for which you are going under the amnesty scheme, that liability should become zero. It should not be that you have gone under the amnesty scheme, made the payment of taxes, and still your liability is showing in the electronic liability ledger. So please be careful for the procedures under the amnesty scheme while filing the form. For penalties, not only under section 73, but even under 122, 125, etc., you can go under the amnesty scheme for the waiver. However, late fines or redemption fines, these fines or late fees are not covered under the waiver scheme for amnesty under section 128 capital A. The payment under this amnesty scheme can be made by electronic input tax credit ledger also. You need not pay only by cash ledger. However, in case you are making a payment of RCM, then you cannot make a payment via input tax credit ledger, which please note. And as I have already discussed, such payment of RCM, you cannot take a corresponding input tax credit off in case you are making the payment of RCM under the amnesty scheme. What happens in case your application under amnesty scheme is rejected by the concerned officer? Doors are not closed. You can go for an appeal against a rejection also. And in case the officer finds that your amnesty application is in order, then he can pass a consequential relief order under SPL 06 form for waiver under amnesty scheme. Now, what happens in case the appellate officer also feels that your amnesty application is liable to be rejected? Are all doors closed for you? No. Your current position is restored. That is the position, say you are filing an application today for amnesties, your appellate order is rejected in September 2025. Then your current position of show cause or order will be restored, of course by filing an application under the amnesty scheme that you would not go for an appeal against that order. But you have nothing to lose even in case your amnesty application is rejected finally also. So friends, this is a very beneficial amnesty scheme under GST. You are urged, wherever you feel that the case may not be in your favor, you may clean off your balance sheet under this amnesty scheme under GST. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe this channel. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.